Welcome in, one and all. It is my distinct pleasure to have everyone in out of the cold or perhaps braced against it, for tonight is our Session Zero, a time to meet the cast, meet the characters, and talk about what we've got coming up very soon with the premiere of Dice-Icive Action, Voices of the Mountain. Welcome to you. Before I introduce our players, characters, and the story we're going to be telling, we have a lot to cover tonight. I just want to take a moment and say thank you to everyone who made this show possible. First of all, this show exists because of our Arttober 2020 fundraiser, specifically the stretch goals thereof. You guys voted for it, voted with your wallet that is, and let me know that you wanted to see Storm King's Thunder. And then later on, you voted for Rime of the Frost Maiden as well, so we put them together
So kind of you
into
to join
one
me.
show. And that is this show. Big thank you to Roll20 for letting us use their assets. Big thank you to Wizards of the Coast for letting us have access to these two modules, Rime of the Frost Maiden and Storm King's Thunder. Big thank you to all of the players for wanting to come along with me on this journey, and thank you to you for allowing me to change the modules into the story that I want to tell for you guys. One last humongous thank you is to our amazing artist, Parrish Broadnax. He's currently working on a proper intro screen and overlay for Voices of the Mountain, but they are not ready as of tonight, but everything else is. This is our Voices of the Mountain crew that you see before you. It's a big group. It is a very, very interesting group, and I'm going to talk about why this group looks the way that it does
So kind of you to join me.
in just a minute. But for now, let's introduce our players for tonight and talk about exactly why we're here. You know a lot of these names, but some of them you may not know, and more to the point, there's a lot of them. So let's get right to it, shall we? Oh boy, here we go. Guy Gamzee, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey dude. How you been? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? And since this might be someone's first
So
time
kind of you to
meeting you,
join me.
let people know who you are and what you do around these parts.
So, I'm Guy Gamgee. I'm basically the guy that has the terrible ideas.
Hmm.
Don't expect good things from me. Mostly because when good things do come out, I get a lot of compliments, so please don't expect them. But I'm doing pretty good.
Who are you playing for this story?
Breaking Dawn. A tour.
A Minotaur. Big boy right there in the middle. Breaking Dawn. Now, you may notice, veterans to D&D, let's get this out of the way right now, that Breaking Dawn is huge. And I hear yourself saying, but kid, Minotaurs are just medium-sized creatures in the rules as written D&D 5th edition. You right. Also, fuck that. Tours and...
Something elected to ignore it.
Correct. I am aware that the council has made a decision, but as it is a stupid-ass decision, I have elected to ignore it. In Voices of the Mountain and in the internal fiction for Dice-Icive Action, Minotaurs are large boys, and therefore, Breaking Dawn is a large lad. We'll be catching up with Breaking Dawn and Guy Gamzee, talking about his character in just a little bit. Anything you want to say to the folks at home?
Drink water, you bitch.
Fair enough. Birchmila, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
I am Birchmila.
There's a halfling that we know well. Hello.
Hi. I am in this one too. You just can't get rid of me.
Why don't you tell people who you are and what you do around these parts, and then talk about who you're going to be playing for this story?
I am Birchmila. I do art and things for Kids Channel, and I also moderate and snark at the Fox when they're streaming. And I will be playing Firga, the plate-covered dwarfy lady on the right there.
Firga Dwemerwode. She's a shield dwarf, and we'll be catching up with her in just a little bit tonight. We are going to be introducing the characters. We're going to be introducing the players. What is banging? Thank you, friend. But let's get the player introductions out of the way first. Anything to say to the folks at home, Gracie? That's what you got. Sibs, you're banging like crazy.
I'm trying to fix my push to talk, sorry.
Cool. Night, Mr. Okami, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
I am here.
You are here. Why don't you tell people who may not have ever had you around before who you are, what you do around these parts, and who you're going to be playing for this story?
I am Knight Misokami, aka Wolfie. I am part of the admin team, and I will be playing Duak Kumi, a firstborn dwarf.
Now, let's pretend that nobody in the audience knows what the fuck a firstborn dwarf is because we made it up.
Oh boy.
We'll probably be spending some time talking about Duak this episode, no?
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to the folks at home?
Do the awoo.
Then do the awoo.
Awoo.
Cool.
Explaining this character is going to be a walk in the park.
It is...
Oh.
Shame on you.
I will not be shamed.
Good. Extinct Bacon, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello, it's me.
Oh, hello, it you. Cookie has been a staple in the shrine for a good few months now, and he was one of the first people to sign up for this game. So, needless to say, it's very interesting to have you here. You've been on a couple of open dice lines, but you've not been here for the big headliners, I don't think. So why don't you tell people who you are, what you do around these parts, and who you're going to be playing for this story?
Well, I am Extinct Bacon, also known as Cookie on Discord and literally everywhere else. I have been in the shrine for a few months now, participated in the Dice-Icive action, the Open Dice Night Death or New Providence run by Sib
you're right,
43.
it's still Decisive Action, that's still correct.
Right. And I just kind of chill around here. Tonight, going forward, I shall be playing the role of Runyak Iregson, the human on the far left.
And if you're wondering why he sounds like a Skyrim NPC, it's because, well, you'll find out. Anything to say to the folks at home?
Go have a snack, you need it.
Oh, Snacko sounds good.
I want a snacko.
I also
I
want
have
a Snacko.
cookies.
No,
Say-
I'm right here.
Yes, there is a cookie. We just introduced him.
You're right, I did. Saves 143, did you fix your push to talk key?
I think so. Hi.
Wonderbar. Hi!
Hi.
Why don't you tell people who you are, what you do around these parts if they've never met you before, and who you're going to be playing for this story?
Well, as mentioned, I'm Sibs143, better just known as Sibs. I'm an artist for Kit's Discord and Twitch. I'm also a stagehand. Really, I just kind of lurk, though I'm always around to talk if needed. But I will be playing Lash Dark Driver for the game. Sorry, I don't know why I just got really nervous there.
No worries, no worries. Lash is the full-blooded orc, and we're going to be having plenty of explanations about Lash in just a few minutes. Anything to say to the folks at home?
I hope you're all having a decent enough day.
Same. And last but certainly not least, because this crew could not possibly get any bigger. Oh, wait. My second in command, my buddy, our keeper, our admin, Nightfall the Kitsune. Welcome back to the show.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sure many of our recurring friends know who you are, but just in case they don't, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do around here, and all of the things you're going to be playing for this story?
So I am Nightfall of Kitsune. I am the head admin for Kit's mod team. I do a lot of button pushing behind the scenes.
Yes.
Important button pushing so Kit doesn't have to do the button pushing. The buttons are terrifying.
The buttons are terrifying.
Don't push the big red button.
Except
No
that's my
wonder
job.
people mimic
That's my job.
So, who are you going to be playing tonight? Or moving forward?
So if you look on the screen, I'm going to be playing this big wolf. I'm going to be playing this big wolf. I'm going to be playing this big wolf. I'm also going to be playing this little halfling here, dressed in white. I am playing a Beastmaster Ranger named Kilio Wolfwalker,
You're a halfling.
a halfling.
But you have a thingus on your face there. Wait a minute.
Yeah, she doesn't seem very culturally halfling, does it?
No, I think we'll circle back to that. No.
I agree. Yeah, let's circle back.
And I hear you guys. I hear the D&D veterans in the audience saying, "But Beastmaster Rangers only get one animal companion." And to that, I say, "Look at the size of that Minotaur and ask yourself if I give a shit about the rules."
The rules are for chumps.
Something
I see
guidelines,
that the
something
council has
actual
made a
rules.
decision, but fuck that decision.
Yes. So yes, Keelio has 3 very large wolves, and that will be explained later. Not the least of which being this is the strongest D&D party I've ever put together. They're not covered in magic items, they're not particularly overleveled, and yes, it's true that Breaking Dawn being a size category larger and Keelio Wolfwalker having extra animals does, like, flow into that. Irrespective of those things, this party is still ridiculously strong. And we'll be talking about that in a minute. I keep pushing stuff to the side because if you take away only one thing from the session 0, it is this. It is why these characters look the way that they do. It is why we're putting this team together. It is what the story that I want to tell is. And to be honest, this is probably the only time I'm going to mention this, so I'm going to get it out of the way. When I got the idea to do this story, there was some... How do I put this? Need for respect to be handed down amongst cultures, and a need to take a stand. Now, I'm not one for politics, especially not on the channel, but this is my way of showing that. It's not going to be crammed down your throat, it's not going to be a thinly veiled metaphor, but this campaign, this story, is all about celebrating cultures and showing that anybody can be a hero, despite their upbringing. I swear to God, that rattling is going to drive me insane, Sibs.
She's on push to talk, dog.
Somebody is rattling. It might be Nightfall.
Hey, sorry, I'll mute my mic just in case.
Thank you. So each of these characters is from a culture and a part of a high fantasy that is not often illustrated. Yes, there's a human. Yes, there's a dwarf. Yes, there's a halfling. I will concede these points. But none of them are from typical locations. This is Voices of the Mountain. These are the races of the north, of Icewind Dale and beyond. This is non-standard adventurers. None of these individuals are from places in Dungeons & Dragons or the Forgotten Realms that is typical. You're not going to find any Water Davians here. You're not going to find anybody from Neverwinter here. And in fact, in many of these cases, we built the cultures from the ground up. And in the ones that we didn't, we had maybe 2-3 paragraphs total of the information given for the history of this area. So to make characters out of that, we really had to do a lot of work. Each of these has their own story to tell, and through them, I want to tell a story that has not really been seen before. And it just so happened that these people from cultures that should be celebrated, that should show that anyone can be a hero, it just so happens that this group is so ridiculously strong, it's not even funny. Like, This group is so strong. There is, for those of you who are D&D veterans out there, there is a life cleric in this party, and this party is so strong that the life cleric is considering multi-classing out of life cleric. Because it's just not needed. There are, of these 6 individuals plus 3 background wolves, there are 4 tanks and 4 healers. This team is incredible. Their damage output is excessive, and even more importantly than that, each of them is an interesting character in their own right. Now, Storm King's Thunder is about the giants coming back into the world of the Forgotten Realms, and what that means for the people who call it home. It is a time of upheaval. It is a time of changing one's place in the world. And I'm going to be celebrating that and focusing on that in the story. Likewise, Rime of the Frost Maiden is about apocalyptic scenarios where things go from bad to worse, but heroes rise above it. And again, we're going to be showcasing that. We're actually going to be doing both of those stories, combining them, and then mutating them, not into Storm King's Thunder and Rime of the Frost Maiden, but into Dice-Icive Action Voices of the Mountain. And to that end, well, we're going to meet our players not so much in a tavern on Razor Hill, but something more culturally appropriate. We're going to be starting this campaign in a moot, and that is a word that some people could very easily be forgiven for not knowing. A moot is simply a meeting of the minds, a meeting of cultures, a gathering of individuals for a specific purpose. In this case, in celebration. But that celebration will come with it political intrigue and turmoil as the various cultures gathered get information from each other and ask for help. And that is where we'll be starting. So session 1 and the first, I would say, 5 to 8 sessions of Voices of the Mountain will have very, very little to do with the modules in question, but they will have everything to do with Voices of the Mountain. We will be introducing our characters to one another, showcasing their cultures, and having them gain even more power before being thrust out into the world and having to stop basically several apocalypses from happening at the same time. We've got everything from dragons to giants to a fallen goddess and werewolves. There's a lot to do.
Everything but the kitchen. Everything is trying to kill us except the kitchen sink.
Pretty much.
So,
I mean,
no pressure.
Psych, that's a mimic.
No pressure.
Yeah, I'd say that was a mimic.
No pressure, Cookie. You're correct, but hopefully it's a lot of fun. What that's going to mean is while we're going to be celebrating cultures, when it comes to the actual game, I want to get right into the meat of it. I want to show these people living their lives and taking part in the mood and doing what it is they want to do. So let's get the character introductions out of the way now. So for the next little bit, I'm going to be talking one-on-one with our players. We're going to be explaining the culture that's built around the character that they're playing, who that character is, their place in the world, and where they're going moving forward. You're going to get some mechanical information, you're going to get some fictional information, but most importantly, you're going to get a window into the personal stories that we want to tell with these people. So there's a lot. Get comfy because there's a lot of characters. And I think I would say we should address the elephant in the room, but I think the Minotaur can wait a few minutes, and I think people are probably very intrigued by the markings on Keelio's face, so let's start there. How does a halfling wind up in the frozen north with 3 giant werewolves, and what are those markings she's carrying?
Wait, they're werewolves?
Yeah.
Direwolves, sorry.
Direwolves, yeah. Well, you see, when group of adventurers that have a child end up in the frozen north without protection, they sort of end up dying.
Sad but true.
Sad but true. But for some reason, Keelio was spared the same fate.
What is that reason?
A Goliath found her in the cold when she was very, very little.
Oh, so those markings are Goliath tribal markings then.
Aye.
Interesting. So you're playing a halfling raised by Goliath. That must have been an interesting childhood.
Oh, definitely. It's Goliaths and halflings are very culturally different. There's a lot of different expectations.
Certainly.
Especially the part where you're expected to pull your own weight.
I mean, Goliaths
And-
do have an ability called Powerful Build, so I would say even more than their weight.
Definitely. And so Kilio had to find a way around her small stature.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure. I can't remember the exact discussion we had, but eventually she was able to, as she grew older, convince the Goliaths that she had a place there. Not that she didn't have a place to begin with, but that
It was worth it.
yes.
We've explored Goliath culture a little bit on Decisive Action, in the same canon with Decisive Action into Waterdeep. The twins, Rockham and Sock'em, allow us a window into Goliath's worldview, so to speak. They're very family oriented. They're very clan based. The clans have their own specializations, and in terms of faith, they're kind of animistic in the things that they like. Does that apply to Kilio?
It does. Her clan is very special.
Is she
in
also
that-
in Clan Grawl, like the twins?
No, she is not.
So it's a different clan.
A different clan entirely. But the clan is named Clan. What was it? Clan Roche.
Roche, yes.
She's part of a clan named Clan Roche, and they closely follow the ideals of the wolf.
Okay.
And actually, wait, I have a lot of notes here. Hold on, let me
Sweet.
pull those up.
What does wolf embody in the Goliath faith?
In the Goliath faith, it focuses a lot on the pack.
Okay.
So the presence of family is a lot higher than anywhere else in the clans.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain this the best way I can.
No, take your time.
But there's also emphasis placed on taking care of the pack, acting for the sake of the pack, protecting the ones you care about.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, yes. In addition to that, Clan Roche has a very special tradition. As Goliaths come of age, they bond with a member of the pack that they also raise wolves, dire wolves to be exact. And each Goliath, as they come of age, bonds with a wolf. More or less like the Pokemon thing of choose your first partner sort of thing.
A good
Except-
analogy.
Yeah. Except the partner chooses you.
A little bit Daenerys Targaryen at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Also, a distinct lack of Pokeballs.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess Kilio can Pokeball them.
Well,
I don't think
because
she
you're
would.
because you're a ranger, but
Yeah, I don't think she would most of the time, only if she had to.
right.
Yeah, dude, we're dealing with Ash and Pikachu kind of situation right here.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit.
little bit. So if you bond with a partner, I see more than one partner on the screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this little halfling somehow got 3?
Yes, she did. I don't remember the exact reason. 3 wolves came to her,
Mm-hmm.
but The situation ended up like this. The clan had their doubts about Kilio, and she proved herself on the hunt. I believe she saved some of the other hunters when they got into an encounter with a bear.
But there's no way that a halfling could be as strong as a Goliath.
Strength is not entirely muscle. Strength is also being dexterous, being smart with your actions. If you're strong but foolish, you're still going to get yourself hurt.
There's wisdom in that.
I
It sounds like there's wisdom in Kilio as well.
do believe so. She's had to make up for the difference of being small in a clan full of giants.
And so this story is going to be about Kilio proving herself and proving that she can be a Goliath, and the big culmination to her personal story is going to be that the Goliaths finally accept her, right?
Nope. She's already been accepted. It's more she wants to forge her own legend. She's proven herself time and time again to the clan.
What do they call her?
They actually, aside from Wolfwalker, because she walks among the wolves, they call her little sister.
That's adorable.
It is.
Face is adorable.
Your mom is adorable.
So, why is little sister going to the moot?
I don't know a reason for her not to. She's of age, she's proven herself time and time again, and actually, there is a reason.
Hmm?
There is, I believe if I'm not sure if this is a thing that specifically Kilio or all of the Goliaths, there's a problem in the north.
I mean, from the sounds of things, there's several problems.
There are several problems, but spring isn't coming like it should.
Oh dear.
Past a certain point to the west, it just doesn't stop snowing.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. So Kilio is going to the moot by herself?
Nope. The entirety of the clans are going.
Oh wow! So there's a bunch of Goliaths showing up.
There's a bunch.
So, like, I have some notes here. Some people that we're going to see in the Goliath camps of Voices of the Mountain is some names we know from Into Waterdeep. Some names we don't. Clan Tars, the merchants. Clan Roche, the hunters. Clan Grawl, the builders. Clan Cry, the scholars and historians. Clan Garm, the warriors. Clan Zok, the masons. Clan Bryn, the smiths. Clan Ver, the keepers of nature. And Clan Valdak, the historians.
Mm-hmm. And each of them follow
different aspects of the animism faith. Yes.
Yes.
And we're gonna be seeing all of them to varying degrees in Voices of the Mountain.
But not only is there the issue of spring not coming, but a moot is basically, to the Goliaths and to a lot of other people, a time to drink and have fun.
True.
Toga. Ah, it's too cold for a toga.
Something is going to freeze and you're going to have a bad time.
Fur toga.
But food, drinks, and fun are also a large portion of Goliath culture. It's a large part of a lot of North culture.
What are you hoping to get out of this game?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping to show that even a person planted in a place where they shouldn't exist, they shouldn't belong there, they still have a place. And they still can be. I'm gonna pull a card from you. Be a hero.
All right, awesome. I think we can absolutely showcase that. Now, let's talk about some mechanics because I'm sure people are curious about how this works.
Mhm.
Let's talk about Kelio's like class and current levels at the start of the campaign.
Okay. At the start,
Mhm.
Kilio's levels are all going into Ranger.
Okay.
Can I say what I'm eventually planning to multi-class into?
Well, one never knows what might happen. Let's just talk about what you are right now.
Okay. I'm planning to go. I'm not planning. I'm currently a Beastmaster Ranger with 3 levels.
Okay.
I have 3 animal companions.
Do they have names and personalities?
They do. The black one, the black and brown one here, is named Orith Stoneclaw. They're the largest one of the group. They're stronger than the other 2. They sort of see them as a protector of this group of wolves in Kilio.
Thank you for not using the word alpha.
Oh, I wasn't planning to. They see themselves as a protector of the group. They don't
Not
see
the
themselves.
alpha, but could you call him top dog?
they don't see themselves as in charge. Just they see themselves as the strongest and feel the need to protect the group.
And Stoneclaw serves as Kelio's mount, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
They're the largest. They have proficiency in athletics as well as stealth. All of them have proficiency in stealth.
Okay.
And they are very close to Kilio. I wouldn't say they're the closest out of the bunch. I say they're all really close to Kilio. But they are protective. They're probably the ones that are going to attempt to keep most of the watch at night, if that makes sense.
Now, I know there's something regarding that you probably want to talk about. There's an aspect of Goliath culture that we actually drew from a third-party source for this. Someone, I would credit them if I could remember their name, made some third-party Goliath feats, and one of them jumped out to Nightfall immediately. And so Nightfall wants to take that feat later, but also work that concept into Kelio's character.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
There are a set of Goliath feats. There's 3 of them. The author is Lanky Familiar.
Lanky Familiar.
Mm-hmm. I pulled up the page.
No worries.
I'm gonna name 2 of them and then name the last one, which is the one that peeked out to me. There's Cold Strider, which is resilience against cold, ice, and snow, resistance cold, and move through ice and snow really well. Give me just a moment.
Yep. Sure. And what's interesting about Ice Walker is the Goliath who takes this feat counts as half as heavy when moving across brittle ice. And what's interesting about that is technically Kelio's not a Goliath. However, I saw no reason that Kelio... I gave Nightfall the choice during character creation. Do you want halfling feats or do you want Goliath feats? I'm not going to let you take both, but I think it's completely reasonable that you could pick one or the other. And Nightfall chose Goliath feats. So Ice Walker is one choice of the set that we found. The other one is Stone Fist, which allows your unarmed attacks to be stronger. You can deal damage to structures. you're strong as the mountain stones. But the one that really caught Nightfall's attention is called Dawncaller. And Dawncaller basically means you sleep less, you can awaken targets with like a special like semi-magical action that allows you to rouse your comrades immediately from slumber. It allows you to keep watch in the night. And Nightfall and I were talking about this again, made by Lanky Familiar. Shout out to him. And the idea of Dawncallers in Goliath Society, because they're nomadic, makes a lot of sense. And so, yeah, Keelio is a Dawncaller for Clan Roche.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome back.
Yes. Keelio is training to be a Dawncaller. I want to take this feat. And I also want to take Cold Strider at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Again, balancing that with ability score increases and other potential feats. Because choices are hard.
Choices are hard.
Decisions.
Anything else you want to talk about with Keelio?
I want to talk about her clothing.
Okay.
The wolves have proficiency in stealth. I
Right.
don't know if Keelio does. Let me check.
I would be surprised if she didn't.
I would be surprised if she did.
Because you're the only one in the party who can stealth, really.
I didn't put proficiency. Hold on. I didn't put. I don't know if I got that from my class or not.
Ranger? Yeah, you absolutely do.
Or at least it's an option.
Yeah, but well, yeah, it's an option.
I'm looking. It is. Why didn't I? Shit! I closed the tab on accident when I was clicking on it.
Done.
Well, since it's before the game starts, I'm going to switch out one of my things for stealth because that's kind of important. Can I do that, kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's before the first roll was made.
Cool. I'm going to do that. And the thing about Keelio's clothing, she's a hunter in the far north. She can dive bomb into the snow.
Now, I want to bring up something that is extremely important. You're a hunter in the far north, but look at the size of your animal companions.
Uh-huh.
You ain't gonna be hunting rabbits.
Absolutely not. More than likely, the game that she's going to be taking down regularly are
Like
moose.
elk, yeah, elk, moose, caribou, like large four-legged herbivores.
Like, even if she does find rabbits, it's not enough to feed the dog.
Might be enough for you.
Might be enough for me, but it's not enough for them.
No. So Clan Roche, when you say Clan Roche are hunters, what you mean if they all have direwolves and they're Goliath themselves is like they hunt big game.
They do. They might hunt like even bigger stuff if there's anything bigger in the north.
Oh, there's certainly bigger things. We're just kind of delving into the realm of fantasy at that point. But then, hey, we're here to play Dungeons & Dragons. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Do I get any bonus from trying to hide in the snow?
Yeah, you're allowed to do it.
Okay, fair.
Any final thoughts for Keelio before we move on?
No, not really. Okay, you say final thoughts. I'm excited to play this character. The only thing I'm nervous about is playing them with their personality conflicting with mine.
I mean, good practice.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll catch up with Nightfall and Keelio soon. But there is basically all the things you need to know about Keelio Wolfwalker. Now, Nightfall, before I move on to the next person, just I want to clarify a couple of GM things on camera so that everybody is, safe and having fun and on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So, you prefer masculine pronouns, right?
I do.
Helio uses feminine pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I just want to square that away. Be on the record with it. Now, also, is there anything in the campaign that you could think of that you would want to avoid if possible or outright restrict? Basically, veils and red cards. Is there anything that you would like me to avoid unless it's, super important to the story? And is there anything that you would like me to rewrite entirely if I can? Now, with all due respect, I'm not going to limit anything that you can say. Anybody can be uncomfortable with whatever they want. I would appreciate it if you took this seriously and didn't say, I don't want Helio to die. I don't want combat that I can lose. I would appreciate it if you would avoid answers like that, but I'm not going to tell you not to.
I'm trying to think of anything. I've never had gripes or anything with that sort of thing. The only things I know that could possibly be something like that is stuff I know you wouldn't do, because I know you as a person.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I have some things I'm going to be avoiding in this campaign because it's boring, frankly. Like, that's my main reason for avoiding it. Fantasy racism is boring. Fantasy slavery is boring. That being said, fire giants, one of the antagonists of this campaign, do take captives. I will just, throw that out. That is a thing. But it will be much slighter than some other games that you might be watching. Also, gender roles are boring. As you can see, fully half of this campaign, half of these characters are female or female presenting, and cool in my opinion. There will probably be some scummy people. There will probably be some political situations. These are not going to be thinly veiled allegories for current events. They're going to be strictly in the game world. That is my promise. Likewise, I will never just off the players unless they come to me and say, would you please just off my character? I don't want to play anymore, or I don't want to play this character, or whatever. That will all be discussed backstage. Equally, I will never put you in a room and fill that room with water and lock you in and drown you unless I give you the opportunity to get the key beforehand. Now, if you miss the key, that's on you. I cannot promise that there will not be danger and thrills in this campaign, but I will always attempt to be fair.
Okay.
Character death, from my experience, is boring aside from the acting of the characters involved.
Yep.
That's the only part that catches my eye, is how the characters respond to it.
Killing the characters is boring. The consequences is where the juice is.
Yeah, the least interesting thing I can do to any given character is to kill them. So, we'll see where that goes. Anything else you want to bring up, Nightfall, or shall I move on to the next person?
I am good.
All right. Sibs, how about you?
Hi.
Hi. Why don't we spend some time talking about Lash and what makes the orcs of Voices of the Mountain different from orcs that you might see in other D&D games or other forms of fantasy?
All right, I can do that.
So, first of all, you're playing a half-orc, yeah?
Nope, full orc.
Full orc. So, you're evil.
Nope.
Interesting. Is there a story there?
Yes, actually.
Go on.
It is the job of the house Dark Driver to drive back the evils, actually. And it is also the job of the High House Dim Watcher to do the same.
So there's a separation between orcs.
Surfix orcs and the Underdark.
Oh, so you're from the surface.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you've never been to the Underdark?
Oh, no. Lash has absolutely been into the Underdark.
Go on.
She basically Lash patrols where. Okay, let me backtrack a bit. The the Dim Watcher house has set up a town base camp like thing right in front of an entrance to the Underdark.
Ooh.
And yeah, they view it, especially the house Dark Driver, view it as their job to keep the evils of the Underdark out of the surface.
Now, what do you call evils in this scenario? Is it everything good, bad, and indifferent, or do you have a specific hit list?
Specifically, those who want to destroy in the name of Grumsh, the creator of the orcs.
Ah, so you're a rebel faction then.
Yep, High House Dim Watcher, and all of those, all technically a rebel faction on the surface.
Fun. So I have a list here of some of the orcish high houses that are part of this rebel faction. We've got the Dim Watchers, the Red Spears, the Auroras, the Deep Shades, the Scale Fires, the Tusk Breakers, and the Oakbind. And
Yep.
each of these are high houses of the surface orcs, and high houses are the orcish equivalents of tribes. And within these high houses, there are lesser houses, and these lesser houses serve the tribe in their own ways. And from the sound of things, Lash is in House Dark Driver, and their job is defense.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. So Lash is a fighter?
Paladin.
Now, that's interesting. Not Grumsh, I assume.
Hell no.
What is she a paladin of?
Lash is a paladin of her own drive, her own loyalty to the House Dark Driver and to her goals.
Interesting. So she's like a zealot.
I mean, I can't think of a better word than that, so kind of.
I mean, I don't have a problem with zealot. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing inherently. She is beholden to her beliefs and her oaths, and that is the driving force of her character.
It's where she gets her power, and it's how she does her job.
Now, looking at the art for Lash there on the far right, when I think of a paladin, I think of, well, the dwarf beside you. Heavy plate mail armor, a big weapon, and a shield. Whereas with Lash, that's a whip, Sibs.
Yeah?
Whip paladin.
Yes. Do you have any idea how terrifying it would be to see this full orc charge you with a whip that is radiating some fuck all energy?
I agree completely. So why is Lash going to the moot?
Initially, Lash didn't think she was going to the moot. The surface orcs are all sending parts of the houses and one member of the high house to the moot. And Lash's job is essentially to patrol for Underdark invaders and go into the Underdark when they're getting a little too close.
Okay.
So Lash was kind of a little thrown off guard when she was told, you're going with them, but she isn't going to question it. If they want to send her, she'll do as instructed.
So you and a contingent of the High House Dim Watcher are going to meet up with, like, the contingents of the other High Houses, and you guys are going to go to the moot together. To, what? Trade? To, like, you're gonna have some, like, Olympian fun? Like, what's the vibe with the orcs? And is it just orcs?
No, it's not just full orcs. There are half orcs and possibly even a few drow thrown in, because what the Dark Drivers do is, well, Dim Watcher entirely. If people want out of the Underdark, that's what Lash and her group would do. They go down there, they take people out. Let us bring you into the light. We'll show you it doesn't entirely suck.
So a little bit like Underground Railroad vibes.
A little, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And so Lash is like a soldier in this contingent of rescuers and defenders. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that orcs have a reputation. I imagine a commoner on the streets of Neverwinter, a farmer in the fields around Waterdeep, is probably not going to know the difference between these surface orcs and, you know, the Underdark, like, followers of Grumsh.
Nope.
Do the people at the Moot know the difference?
I imagine that they do know that the orcs say there is a significant difference, but it's just a matter of person to person who believes them.
Now, my other question is, Grumsh is a god. He's like,
Yep.
he made the orcs as servitors to his will.
To pillage, to destroy, and to claim what he thought was his.
Basically, what ritual, what magic do the surface orcs have to resist that?
Determination, sheerly their own desire, just sheerly their own mentality of we are not serving, so we won't.
So you have to convince other people that you're not like them. You have to prove it, and yet, arguably, Grump still has a hold over you.
Yep.
That's gotta be difficult. Like, does that mean, like, from what you're saying, does that mean that the surface orcs can, like, fall back into the old ways, and that could be a problem?
Yes, and they actually have a system for that.
Oh.
And basically, orcs on the surface have very much ritualistic ways of doing things, and they all have something that they pride themselves in. For Lash, it is not lying. Lash's word is her honor. If she dishonors her word, she dishonors her clan and everything else.
Your mic died.
Damn it.
So it's a power game. It's a matter of willpower for the surface orcs. Is Lash and or the surface orcs like looking for a way to actually like excise Grumsh from their spirit, so to say? Like is that something that you would like to explore?
Okay, first, is my mic better?
No.
1 second.
All right.
Any better now?
Much.
Okay. So I think that there are orcs who are like actively searching for that. I think though that yes, I would like Lash to pursue that. Like there has to be a way for me to not hear his words whenever I start to get angry.
Okay. Interesting. And I'm assuming there aren't many orcs on the surface that like feed into it. I feel like that's a dangerous game to play.
It is, because once you feed into that, you lose your honor. Like if a smith were to just one day give into it, no matter how good of their rituals they are, once they come down from that, you can't be a smith anymore.
Ooh, okay. So it's a very, very rigid society.
It's all or nothing. If Lash tells a lie, knowingly she lies, then Lash will basically never be allowed to speak again. Hence the tattoos on her mouth that basically serve as a guideline. If I lie, sew my mouth shut along these.
Wow. So she probably lose her like paladin abilities too in that regard.
Yep.
Interesting. What are you looking to get out of this campaign?
I'm mostly looking to get out of this like a bunch of different cultures getting to know each other and getting to know their ways, and even if the ways conflict, they're still going to respect each other.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the mechanics a little bit.
All right.
So Lash is a full orc.
Yep.
of High House Dim Watcher with the Lesser House Dark Driver, does that confer any special mechanical advantage?
I don't think we discussed it having any
I don't believe we did,
special
no.
advantages. No, I don't think it did. Mostly other than Lash has like familiarity with the Underdark, considering she's been in and out of it.
So do you like what class levels does Lash currently have?
Lash is currently full paladin.
So how many levels is that?
3 levels of paladin.
3 levels of paladin. Cool.
3 levels of I am so sworn to my word, I am going to destroy you.
So that means that you've got a paladin oath at that point.
Yep.
Which I'm certain we'll see the flavors of that oath in the game, but mechanically, what type of paladin is Lash?
Mechanically, Lash is a paladin of devotion.
So tanky.
Very tanky.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Is there anything that you want to like avoid in the campaign for whatever reason?
I cannot think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Is there anything that you would rather not have at all?
Again, nothing off the top of my head.
It's completely fine. And just to be clear, both you and Lash prefer feminine pronouns, yeah? Just
Yes.
cool. As far as the moot goes, we all talked about this backstage a little bit. Compared to the other races coming to this moot, like the orcs are kind of like, what are y'all talking about? It's fine. Like you don't know any of the bad things that are coming to pass. But I do have a sneaking suspicion that the orcs are going to step up. No?
Oh, 100%.
Interesting.
The darkness is coming, and Dark Driver is Lash's house.
Yeah,
darkness is coming, so it's time to drive it back.
Grumshid's a chaotic, evil destroyer god. Like, I feel like if anybody is familiar with fighting back the darkness, it's going to be the surface orcs.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll catch up with Lash a little bit later. We got a bunch of other people to introduce. So, anything else you want to add?
I am very excited.
Good. Let's stay in this quadrant for a bit and talk about our plate mail clad hammer wielding dwarf maiden. Hey Birchmila, let's talk about Firga.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, Firga. Armor, smashy, unsure of herself.
Yeah, okay, well, let's start there then. Like, talk to us a little bit about, like, dwarvish culture as it pertains to Voices of the Mountain, because you and I both know that we're changing things a bit.
Yeah, we're changing things up a bit.
Go on.
Well, dwarf culture. Oh boy, where to begin? It's kind of the dwarves.
Well, okay, where to begin? How about where's Firga from?
Okay, so Firga is from this place called Gauntlgrim. And Gauntlgrim is a dwarven stronghold that was like within the last 20 years or so, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like recaptured by the dwarves from the drow who had taken over the place.
I want to correct the record on one quick thing. It is the seat of dwarvish power.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's the capital.
Yeah, capital. Retook the capital after the drow had been squatting in it for long ass time.
The drow, dragons, illithids, like Gauntlgrim has a history dating back 2 editions of D&D.
Yeah, it's been there a while.
And mostly out of the hands of the dwarves.
Yeah.
But in 5th edition, just before the events of Out of the Abyss, Gauntlgrim is reclaimed by a name that many fans of D&D lore, especially and including Neverwinter Nights, will know, one Brunor Battlehammer. Yes, that Brunor Battlehammer. He's the High Thane of the dwarves. He led armies from all the other dwarf holds back to Gauntlgrim, and he captured it. And the reason we're setting this a couple decades later is because they had to clear it out and hold it and, like, bolster their forces. The dwarves are responsible for the moot, no?
Yeah, it's one big celebration to say, hey, we got our city back!
So you guys you called all of your northern friends, and you were like, hey, let's trade.
Let's trade.
knowing full well
Let-
that they have stuff that Neverwinter doesn't know about, and you could turn around and sell it to the humans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's trade. Let's show off all this awesome stuff we have and can make. Let's swap stories and brag about how badass we were getting rid of getting the Underdark out of the stronghold.
So it's a very like posh affair for the dwarves. This moot, like this is a big
Yeah.
like there's some measurement happening. Let's say.
Yeah.
How does Firga fit into all of this?
Well, Firga is from the artisans cast, right?
Okay.
And there was a competition to see which champions would go be badasses at the moot. Like
who would represent the dwarves as champions of Gauntlegrim?
Yeah.
That sounds like you mentioned casts. Like let's back up a minute. Like dwarves use a fairly rigid caste system, I would assume. Like
right.
everything I've ever read about high fantasy dwarves says that they're prone to tradition and sorry, go on.
I was about to elaborate on that. So Firga signed up for the competition to see who would go, figuring, hey, I can prove myself, and if I do well, I'll raise my clan up a caste level.
From artisan to military.
Correct.
Okay.
And then she didn't win, but she
qualified.
She qualified to go to the moot. And shit hit the fan because there's internal politics of, but I don't want to be a soldier, but I do want to be a soldier. And then there's the whole thing of if she does really poorly, her whole clan is going to be shamed for it.
So, what would you say dwarves prize? Other than gold, obviously. Like, material wealth is a given. What do dwarves prize beyond that?
They prize clan, they prize their history, and they prize...
There was a word that you used that we both latched on when we were writing all of this dwarf
permanence.
There you go.
I believe it was.
Permanence. So, dwarves, they're slow to change. They prefer things, to remain as they are for generations, and that's why they're such good artisans. Like they want to focus on that with almost single-minded fervor, and so that would make Firga, even in so simple an act of I want to elevate my clan, she's a homewrecker by dwarven standards.
But we've been artisans for 7,000 years, right?
And what's even more interesting about this is because the dwarves favor permanence, Gauntlegrim is a new city. Like, it's been out of dwarvish hands. Like, yes, the dwarves made it, but it's been out of dwarvish hands for... I mean, before the Spell Plague. So, in the last 20 years or so, like, the clans have come back and have been... like making Gauntlegrim what it is, but like comparably speaking, it's a young city full of young, hot-tempered dwarves.
Young, hot upstarts, and also like old money.
Yes,
like the ancient clans. Like my great grandfather had a shop here. I'm gonna go start that up again.
So Firga Dwemerwode. Like the Dwemerwode clan is like artisans. What do they do?
It varies. They get their name from a mishmash of woad the plant, which gives you this really nice, beautiful blue dye, and Dwemer, which is like a really old word for like shiny magic shit.
Okay.
But they're known mainly for their fine work. So like. Firga, before the whole military nonsense that she stepped in, was a wood carver. Like
carpenter.
For some reason, it's delineated in the book And in my head, my understanding was carpenters is like houses and like big things, and a woodcarver was like the casing of a cuckoo clock, for example.
That's reasonable.
So she was doing like the fine work like that.
Okay.
Her brother is a smith, and her uncle is a brewer, and there's a wide variety of things her family does.
And they were content with that.
Mhm.
But Firga wasn't.
Right.
Okay.
Firga had her head in military books and strategies and like.
So she's some kind
You
of
know
like
that-
badass military prodigy then.
She likes to think of herself as that.
The way you said that leads me to believe that that's not necessarily the reality.
Well, the way I figure whether she is or not remains to be seen.
Okay.
But yeah, she's very much got her nose in like the history books, and she's got a few heroes she idolizes from like various battles. Like you know that kind of military historian who's very interested in like, okay, then the flanks moved around this way, and then the cavalry charged, and
Yeah.
she's a military nerd.
Okay. So she's coming to the moot to compete by the sound of things. Champion of Gauntlgrim implies people are going to be vying for that title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
People are going to be vying for it, and
probably against like actual military families then.
Yep.
Oof. So expectations.
There's expectations afoot. Which brings me back to the whole she's having second thoughts now, like why did she do this?
Right. So does that mean that Firga's not going to be celebrating during the moot, or does that just mean that the stakes are a bit higher?
It's just the stakes are higher, and like let's just say she'll be drinking for 2 reasons.
So then, what do you want to get out of this campaign?
I would like to see Firga come into her own as like big badass lady, and also I can't wait for just to explore the north. Like there's so much out there and so many people to talk to and creatures to fight and shenanigans afoot and mimics to step in.
How are the dwarves different from like the other races that we've seen so far? Like the caste system is interesting. The focus on permanence is a big deal compared to like, you know, the nomadic Goliaths and the rigid, like almost fear driven like of the orcs. But like,
Right.
what are you going to do that's going to set the dwarves apart? Like, what is it about dwarvish culture that screams like, I am Firga?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Hmm. Because you're not the
I'm
only
trying
dwarf
to
on the
figure
board.
that out.
Okay. Well, while you're thinking about that, let's go over some mechanics.
Okay.
So, what is Firga mechanically? Like, she's a artisan, so she's an artificer then.
No, she's a fighter. She's a fighter 3 battle master.
Oh, battle master. So you've got you got them superiority die.
Yep.
All right.
But it's not like she's so strong she pushes you to the ground and stabs you. It's more like, oh hey, Frank made that armor. I know Frank. There should be a chink in it, like right about there. Stab.
Odysseus.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So then
She's a tactician more than a brute.
You search for the weak point.
Yeah.
you're a tactician. So it okay. All right, I'm with you.
And she's not afraid to get into like dirty fighting just a little bit, you know.
I mean, there's a feat for that. There's a feat literally called Dirty Fighter.
I was not aware of that.
Yep.
But what's it you like to say? If it's a fair fight, reconsider?
If it's a fair fight, reevaluate. But yes.
Reevaluate, that's the one.
Okay. All right. So just to move a few things aside here. Like, you and Firga both prefer feminine pronouns.
Mhm.
Is there anything you want to avoid or outright have rewritten from the story?
Not that springs immediately to mind.
Okay.
Moreover, I've played Curse of Strahd with you, so I trust your sensibilities in that sense.
I appreciate it. So circling back then, what about dwarvish society makes Firga Firga?
That's a very good question.
And you might have noticed I haven't really been talking about different dwarvish clans for Firga, because that's going to be slightly less important than the military underpinnings of all that Firga's going to do. She's a soldier, or she rather wants to be a soldier first, and I'm going to be making a point to showcase that more than the individual clans, because the soldiers of Gauntlegrim are mostly anonymous.
Right.
Now, speaking of which, let's settle the classic dwarf debate right now. Does Firga have a beard?
She does not.
Now, is there a reason for that, or is it just because female dwarves don't have beards?
No. Firga specifically doesn't have a beard because of an accident when she was little kiddo.
Oh, interesting. So female dwarves do have beards.
Most of them do, yeah.
Okay.
So
it'll be hard to tell a dwarf's gender just by looking at them.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless you know dwarven gender signifiers other than the beard.
Right. So what happened to Firga?
I'm a little fuzzy on the details still, but there was apparently a big explosion. But yeah, it got her in the face, and now she can't grow a beard because scar tissue.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's not depicted here, but she's got this false beard she wears outside in the cold.
Is there a reason for that?
It's cold.
I mean, okay, yes,
it's
valid.
Cold and dwarvish beauty standards.
Is it dwarvish beauty standards, or was it that thing that we talked about?
There's also that, if you would like to go into that.
I mean, you're the one playing the dwarf. You should go into that.
Fair enough. I just offered to let you do it because you're the one who has, brought it up to me. So you know how in underground miners, cavers will have to worry about inhaling coal dust if it's a coal mine, or various kinds of gases. So the canon, as I understand it, is the dwarven beards are
natural filters.
Natural filtration systems, help filter out all those dust and particles and icky things you don't want in your lungs.
And so that's why both genders of dwarf, or I guess all genders of dwarf, have them, and it's why Firga has to wear a prosthetic. It kind of filters into the dwarven constitution. Dwarves tend to be very hardy and hale and stout and strong, and all of these words apply to dwarves across fantasy. And part of that is because their respiratory system is filtered, which actually weakens a dwarf without a beard a little bit. That's not to say that Firga is going to be sickly and frail, but it is to say that she wears the beard in the same way that someone might wear leg braces.
Right.
Anything else you wanna add?
Let me think.
All right.
Should I mention how big a nerd I am, or should we skip over that?
You are welcome to talk about nerddom.
If you guys hear me spouting gibberish, it's because I've been conlanging in the background, and I'm a giant nerd, and I'm sorry.
So let's pretend that somebody doesn't have any idea what the fuck you just said. What are you doing?
I've been making a dwarvish conlang, or constructed language.
Which we'll both be
example,
using. Which we'll both be using.
Yes. Conlanging, if you don't know, constructed language, it's making up a language for the fun of it. Tolkien did it.
Tolkien did it like 4 times, to be fair.
Tolkien did it like 4 times. He's like the granddaddy of conlanging.
He reinvented modern fantasy.
Exactly.
Tolkien loved languages.
If
He
you're
was a
more of
linguist
sci-fi
first. He wasn't even going to write down the stories. He was just going to write down the language. The problem is his
he needed
like
the context for how the language changes over time.
no, he didn't. He wasn't even going to write that down. The problem is his son Christopher, who was like 8, kept fact checking his ass. There is a
That was literally just. But that isn't how you said it happened.
yes, that is exactly right. And there is a footnote
fucking
there's a footnote in one of the Middle Earth anthologies where Tolkien just wrote "damn the boy." So yeah. But anyway, you were saying.
That's great. I was about to say, if you're more of a sci-fi fan,
Klingon.
Klingon, thank you. I was blanking on the thing I was about to tell you, and I was trying to. My head was going to Vulcan. I was like, no, that's definitely not right. Klingon is a conlang. If you want a more recent example, Dothraki from Game of Thrones is also a conlang.
Yep. It's not just gibberish. There's an internal consistency. Like you can actually speak those languages. Granted, oftentimes you can only speak them as necessary for the script, and that's going to be true here. Like we're not going to make fully functional languages because neither one of us is last name Tolkien. But you'll see like our characters or my NPCs and Gracie's character Firga and a couple other people might be throwing in some dwarvish or orcish words here and there to help things out. It's a thing.
I might try to do something with Goliath words, but I don't know.
I'd be happy to help you if you want the help.
I would like to try.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll catch up with Firga in a bit. We have plenty of other people to talk about. Let's just continue to the left and bring in Big Boy. Gamzee.
Hi.
Let's talk about Breaking Dawn.
This is the big hand you were talking about, Bigby's big boy hand, right?
Oh god, that's gonna be with me forever now.
It really
Yes, it
is.
is.
That is your
not letting that go ever.
So
I don't think he needs the spell. I think he could just do it.
So you are playing a very large man.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your very large man, because there's a lot to unpack here. So I guess we should start with what's in a name, like Breaking Dawn. That is evocative, is what that is. Like that's
Yeah. The Taurs have a sort of naming convention that the name sort of sets an expectation for life.
okay.
You earn your name, I believe.
Yep, that's right.
You earn your name, and there's a certain expectation of you to keep up with its meaning.
So if I'm a Taur and my name is Howling Gale, I should be forward focused, loud. I should be a terror to mine enemies. Right?
Essentially.
Okay. So how does Breaking Dawn fit into that? Like, I'm sorry, mate, but just like looking at this character, like I don't really understand how a barbarian gets the name Breaking Dawn.
Well, actually, he's a life cleric.
Go on.
Minotaurs have multiple tribes, like Goliaths have clans, each
Okay.
one tending to its own sort of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking Dawn is a part of the Hallowstone tribe, a group that was formed from, so to say, exiles of other tribes.
And what did they do? I see your dude has
it's-
like stone armor.
Yeah, it's to become an exile, you have to in a sense, lose your name.
Okay.
To what degree what classifies as worthy to lose your name, I don't quite remember.
That's fine.
But long time ago, a large group ended up being, put it one way or another, saved by the earth.
Okay.
Be it a freak accident of a stone slamming and an avalanche protecting them from it. Whatever.
A cave in a blizzard. It's like some Earth-related thing.
Right. These groups, these people came together with the belief that the earth had looked out for them. And they formed Hallowstone, looking out for, to praise the earth and do for others as the earth has done for them. They're sort of a search and rescue medical team.
Oh, interesting. So they're like lifeguards.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming that would imply that wherever they are is treacherous.
Yes, they live on the sea of moving ice.
That sounds terrifying.
It's exactly what it sounds like, and worse.
So you're playing a life cleric.
Yes.
Interesting.
His name is set to imply like breaking dawn is like symbolic for new hope, like a triumph, hope coming to fruition.
Now look to my coming
No.
at first light on the fifth day, at dawn look to the east. Like, yeah. Absolutely. So
He is the hope bringer.
he's the hope bringer. He's the tide turner. He's the like
The halfling leader.
So that implies he's important.
Yeah. Taurs don't particularly have familial systems either.
Right.
So for one to say like he's the son of the chief, it's hard because they don't have the parental thing.
Right. They don't
The
necessarily have
tribe
like a
raises the
concept of,
children.
of parents. Yeah, because it's communal.
So he's currently in the running to be chief of Hallowstone.
Okay.
And that's because he's earned that right. It's in tours, it's you have to
Earn everything,
breaking-
apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's currently being groomed to be the leader. So he's meant to bring hope to Hallowstone,
So he's a
to
prince.
the tours.
The concept that you're describing is a prince.
Essentially.
Okay. I'm
Um,
assuming there's other Tor tribes.
Yeah, there's other groups like the Torch Runners,
The
or
Dry
like-
Bricks,
Dry Bricks. My notes.
Iron Horns. It's a separate note if you remember.
I had it in. Blank. There we go. Wave Runners, Trail Striders, Frost Renders. There's Somber Howl, Dry Brick.
There's probably not a lot of Tors.
Um,
Because something called a Sea of Moving Ice doesn't sound exactly hospitable.
well, not all of them live on the Sea of Moving Ice.
Right, but still.
Yeah. There's sort of a wives' tale,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, that Tors live closer to that area to drive back the frost giants.
How's that working for him?
We don't talk about that.
I think we should.
It's not well. Because apparently they got smarter.
Go on.
Frost giants recently forced Hallowstone out of their quote-unquote roots.
Okay.
Forced the rock off its plinth. Couple dozen of them suddenly showed up on top of the Hallowstone's camp and began an attack and drove them out.
So you're going to the moot being like, we need help.
Yeah, trying to convince the other tribes, like, this is happening.
Is it just the other tribe? Because there's going to be a bunch of people at the moot.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of people, but it's...
Why
the
did the
first
frost giant suddenly wise up?
Don't know.
Okay.
That's going to be another thing to try and figure out, but that's probably going to be kind of secondary.
Fair enough.
Because if we're out there to keep them back, there's a reason, and if they're coming forward, then the Taurs are like the first priority to get on board this fight, because this is our shtick.
Okay.
We are the biggest and baddest, so to say, in the north.
I mean, that's fair. Not a lot of things are gonna predate a full-grown Taur.
The Taurs are the first line of defense, you'd say?
To a degree, yeah.
Okay. So, are you going to be just in the back throwing heal spells the whole time then, Mr. Life Cleric?
Oh no. Dawn is fully aware of and the power that comes with it. He'll be throwing spells and throwing people too.
So you're going to be in there.
Oh yeah.
Tank Cleric. All right. That'll be an interesting thing. What do you want to bring to this campaign?
Hot. Fucking shaky, dude.
What?
I'm in the basement and it's cold, and now I'm excited, so I'm shaking.
I mean, fair. What do you want to bring to this
Don't worry,
campaign?
I feel.
Honestly, it's... I don't know how to word it.
Okay.
There's always the mountain type people in
Right.
a lot of cultures and stories and stuff.
Sure, all of you.
That are, yeah.
It's almost like we should name the show that. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that didn't come out right.
It's fine. You're fine. What I'm hearing is you want to showcase like Taur culture and how you can like stand rigid and like help people.
How regardless of how silent a people may be, how rich their culture can be, how much and how we're exploring it can really be.
So let's talk about mechanics, and I think we need to talk about your mechanics more than pretty much anybody else, because I would wager that somebody watching this right now might not know the significance of playing a large character.
Yeah,
so
especially with the modifications.
Right. So I didn't really modify it that much. I just made it large. So
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what it is to play someone who is a size category above the norm. You are strong.
Oh yeah.
Now, do Minotaurs get the ability that Goliaths have? Do they have powerful build?
They do.
Okay, so you are a large creature, but you can do feats of strength equivalent to a huge creature.
Yes.
He is Biggie McLord huge.
Okay, so that in and of itself is ridiculous.
Pretty huge.
Yeah. You're gonna be just like you're gonna be a terror in a fight is what's gonna happen. Like you're probably gonna be focused simply by virtue of if they don't, you're just gonna start like roofing people.
A 16 for a Goliath and a 16 Taur are terrifyingly different for strength.
Your attributes define the averages for your race, and you do get benefits based on your ritual choices. on what your skills allow you to do. But a human with a strength of 10 and a Goliath with a strength of 10 are different, and then you put a Minotaur in the mix. In the way that we're doing Minotaurs, it's even bigger. So he is above average strength, substantially above average strength for a Minotaur. So basically, Keelio cannot do anything compared to Breaking Dawn strength-wise. Like,
Helio might as well be stuck with Mage Hand in comparison.
Ooh, hold on.
it also gives you increased reach. Like you can fight further away. You can do things with your just by virtue of being a big dude. Anybody who has a tall friend or you are the tall friend, you know what I'm talking about. Like, Breaking Dawn is going to be passing the cereal box down from the cabinet to Keelio every other day.
Or Keelio's going to be using Breaking Dawn as Lord Stepstool.
Potentially. Does it... Wow, Nightfall, mute immediately. Wow, whatever that was very loud.
Yeah, that was some static
that
and a half.
sucked.
I'm sorry?
You're really staticky, and every time you talk, it explodes. Like, rejoin if you have to. Like, you're actually hurting the stream. Like, stop.
Any better?
Much better, thank you.
I don't know what happened.
I appreciate you fixing it. So, like, is there anything else that Breaking Dawn can do physically that you want to, like, discuss? Also, like, let's talk about your class and levels. Like, what is Breaking Dawn right now?
He is a 3rd level light cleric.
A 3rd level life cleric. So, like, magically, your heals are really good, and your race is picking up the melee department.
Yeah.
You're a powerhouse, is what you are.
Yes.
Ah, so he's the mitochondria.
A little bit, yes. The mitochondria in this case. Okay. What are you looking to, like, get out of this story with Breaking Dawn? Like, what do you wanna do? Where do you wanna go?
Honestly, that's also hard to express for me.
Fair.
There's so much to a story like this that it's where my ADD comes out, because it's like this, but also shiny.
I mean, that's completely fair. You said like a character that doesn't talk much can still have a vibrant culture. I think we can absolutely showcase that. I don't think that's an issue at all. I see a lot coming out of this, but let's step back from Breaking Dawn for just a second. I'm assuming masculine pronouns across the board for Gamzee and for Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to avoid? Anything you want to not deal with at all?
Become one with the fire.
Anything to the degree of like trypophobic descriptions.
I don't see that coming up often in D&D.
Another issue for me is it's another one that's not common, but like descriptive scenes of needles or blades entering.
Do me a favor and Google Remoraz.
Oh god, those things.
And let me know if that's going to give you issues.
It's just the description of
That's
the blade.
the only thing I can think of off my head that might trip you up, and it's good to get that out of the way now. I don't know how to spell it.
I think I got it.
Remorhaz.
I don't think that'd be an issue, because you just don't too heavy on the detail.
I can try. They're
If
gross,
you know
and they
what I
have some
mean.
gross
Like,
abilities.
I can deal with it. It's just
It's not going to be a constant thing. It's just
yeah.
almost like when you talk about like wintry apex predators. Like Remoraz are up there, so like almost certainly it's gonna come up. I just wanted to make sure it would be okay.
Yeah, no, I can deal with that.
Cool. All right, then I think we're good. Anything else you wanna talk about with Dawn?
I think I'm good.
All right. We're gonna jump all the way over to the left now and talk to our new friendo, Cookie. You here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hi.
Hello.
So, in some ways, some people could see you as the least interesting member of the group. I disagree with that, but you're playing a human. You're playing a human of the North. So you're from Icewind Dale, right? You're from the 10 Towns. You're from like Bryn Shander or something, yeah?
Oh, no. I am from a special people known as the Reghead Men, who live all the way up in the Reghead Glaciers.
Reghead Barbarian, specifically, yes.
Yes, the barbarian tribe, yes.
But that is probably not the most interesting thing about your character.
No.
Like, in terms of, like, being an adventurer. Tell us, like, Runyak's, like, thing.
So, firstly, Runyak is a much older man, comparatively.
Most D&D style adventurers are like early to mid 20s. Runyak is not that. Runyak is what was it, like 40 some?
He's actually mid 30s.
Mid 30s, still.
Which is surprisingly old for
an adventurer.
A Reghead. For the Reghead specifically. But no. A more interesting thing about Runyak is, I'd say, something that you can't see immediately with the character, which is his face is not the best looking.
Oh, he's got that shaded helmet, the big beard, the high collar. Like, you can't really see much of his face. But from the way that you're describing, he's what? He fell out of the ugly tree?
No. When Runyak was just a wee lad going out on the hunt with his fellow family, he was mauled almost to death by a wolverine.
Ah. So his face is fucked up.
Yes.
So he's an old dude with a fucked up face living out on the glacier. It sounds like he's done his time, man.
Yeah. I'd say so, at least. You know, he's got a family within his.
He's got a family
clan. Yeah.
Okay, what brings him to this mood and this world-saving adventure then?
Well, Runyak is a part of the tribe of the Elk.
Okay. And
the leader of the Elk tribe, whose name is escaping me right now.
I know who you mean. Invar? I can check real quick while you're talking.
He called specifically upon Runyak because they grew up somewhat together.
Okay.
And called him because he wanted someone with experience to be able to lead a grouping of young champions to this moot.
His name is Jarund Elkhart.
Yes.
The king of the tribe of the Elk.
Yep. He wanted Runyak to come along on the moot and make sure that this group of young, willing, and able, in their prime champions.
So teenagers.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure that they actually get there.
So there's more than one tribe.
Yes.
So Runyak is palling around with the other like chaperones for these teenagers. Like so you're basically hanging out with like the principal and the teachers.
Kind of.
Okay. What do you mean kind of?
Well, Runyak is the only older person in this little group.
Oh. I imagine that didn't go well.
No, definitely not at first.
Okay. So you're going to the moot on behalf of all the Reghead then.
Yes,
So you're like the big man.
I am the big talk of the North,
Okay.
kind of.
Big isn't an understatement. He's not a
and
tour, but he's certainly not short.
What are you trying to do at the moot? Like, what are you trying to do aside from keep the kids safe? Like, if you're going to be the big man, like you're a diplomat. What do you got on your docket?
Oh, well, a couple of interesting things. The first of which is something that he was shown by Yarund, which
Okay.
is giant footprints.
You mean like a minotaur?
Oh, no. Giants.
Oh, like there's giants up on the Reghead Glacier.
It's almost like they're starting to come back.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as that's all it is.
Well, if only it were that simple.
It never is.
No. Another thing that Runyak was shown was a grouping of fellow Reghead men who were understandably mauled to death by creatures that should not be up in the glaciers.
You mean like a polar bear?
Much worse. Much more primal and savage.
Demonic
Like a
polar
cave
bear.
bear?
Alaskan bullworm.
Definitely that last one.
If you think
Direwolves and a small halfling.
if you think for a minute I'm not putting a giant worm up in the Reghead Glacier, you are mistaken, sir.
Yay.
I'd be
Giant
disappointed if you
mechanical
didn't.
worm.
But no, all of
That's
that
the biggest
came
brick I've ever seen.
all of that primalness came from the quote-unquote friends to the east, from the tribe of the wolf.
Looks at Keelio suspiciously.
Oh no.
I didn't do it.
Not Goliath or anything, a fellow human tribe.
Okay, why and how did they maul your boys? I mean,
That's
I
a
guess
good
wolves
question.
eat elks.
Yeah, but they weren't really eaten. They were just mauled to death.
That sucks. Why?
Well, that's a good question.
Okay.
And something that Runyak hopes to figure out a bit more of, and perhaps get some help to figure out what's going on with that.
Interesting. All right. Okay. So Runyak is going to be like kowtowing with the other like diplomatic leaders. You're going to be playing a faction head for the mood
Yes.
at least.
Yes,
And
I am.
then you're just going to head on back home and fade into obscurity?
Maybe. Or maybe not.
What do you want to get out of this campaign?
I want to get out one, and I know that you don't feel this way, Kit, but there are people that will say human are a uninteresting and boring race, and I want to prove to people that nah, dude, we can be great.
I talked earlier about how most of these cultures are more or less scratch, and we just have a couple of paragraphs for some of the ones that are not completely scratch. Let me show you, chat. Let me show you all of the information that has been printed in its entirety for Cookie and I regarding the Reghead Barbarians. This is from every D&D thing that exists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paragraphs, 4 of which are about an individual tribe.
Christ.
Yikes.
Also, can I say, all that came to mind when you said that Runyak was one of the oldest was, so we there yet?
That happened.
It did happen quite a lot.
He's kicking me!
So we
Sir, I
can
need to pee.
we can definitely make humans interesting in this. I have many plot lines for our boy Runyak, as I'm sure you are aware.
Oh yeah.
What else do you want to get out of the campaign?
I mainly just want to get out a good experience and to get a good first showing for a long-running campaign for me, and hopefully be able to do more in the future.
Fair enough. So let's talk mechanics.
Sure.
Runyak I mean, just looking at that art, there's a couple of things he could be. Wizard does not immediately jump to my mind.
No, he's totally a warlock.
Right. What is Runyak mechanically?
Runyak is a 3rd level fighter.
Okay, so you've picked a specialization at that point then.
That is correct.
What specialization do you have?
It is a specialization known as the Sylvan Knight.
Which sounds third party.
It does. And it is.
Okay.
It was third party found on the D&D wiki, which is a good source for a lot of different homebrew aspects.
Agreed.
But Kit and I agreed that there were parts of the subclass that were a little overpowered.
As D&D wikis want to do.
Or didn't necessarily make sense.
Right. So behind the scenes, he and I have been working to smooth it out, and at this point in time, it's at a level where I can hopefully show its gratitude.
So, Sylvan Knight, it's basically, if Eldritch Knight is Blade Singer, like Blade Sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
Like it's fighter, like, with magic.
Yeah, it's essentially a fighter wizard hybrid.
Then Sylvan Knight is the druid version.
Yes.
So a lot of, like, I would almost say like Kratosian abilities.
Yes.
Or if not Kratos, then as Frigga was portrayed in God of War.
Right.
I think, yeah, we can definitely showcase that. But that seems an odd choice from the Reghead Barbarians because of that name. Like, are wise men and magical learning, like, common among them?
No, not particularly.
So how did Runyak get these abilities?
Well, that's the thing. He hasn't quite yet.
Oh, okay.
He's hoping to better understand animist ways from the Goliaths who are hopefully showing up to this moot.
Oh, do I have some plans for that?
It's a party. Of course the Goliaths are showing up.
Right? Okay. Just to clarify it, masculine pronouns across the board for Cookie and for Runyak?
Aye.
Okay. Anything you want to avoid in the campaign? Anything you want to rewrite entirely?
Not that pops into head.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. We'll be seeing more of Runyak very soon. And I think it's finally time to take a look at this alien creature here in the middle between Keelio and Runyak. Wolfie, are you ready to talk?
Oh, this is gonna be great.
What do you mean? That's just
a
you
Warforged.
playing? I haven't seen many Warforged made out of stone, friend. And why is he holding a Pokeball?
So
what's going on, Wolfie?
I haven't seen that iteration of the Pokeball yet.
It looks like that ancient Pokeball that had the giant Jigglypuff in it.
Yeah, I know, right? It really does. I love it.
I'm sorry, the fucking what?
It reminds me sort of the Beast Ball, but opposite colors.
Yeah. Wolf, jump
Like,
in
the
anytime.
color- Yeah, the colors are reversed, I think.
What the hell are we looking at?
No. Clearly that is a water stone, but it is embedded on a piece of rock.
Heyo.
Okay, we are looking at a firstborn.
What the hell is a firstborn?
Is a class that Kit made up themselves.
I don't think it's a class. I think it's a
race. Race.
Yeah.
Right.
What is it, though?
A firstborn is a type of dwarf who is a construct. And they are part of the forgotten ruins of the dwarven culture.
So the old world.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I guess Old World doesn't even really begin to describe it. I guess the Forgotten Age.
Yes.
Okay,
Past
so
Eon.
you are from the before time. Okay,
Basically.
so you're playing a robot?
A stone robot.
Okay,
I believe that's called a golem.
so you're playing a golem. Who's your master?
My master is Moradin, who created the Forceborns.
Wait a minute, I thought Morden was the god of the dwarves.
That too.
Okay, were you made with a purpose? Are we gonna send you into the past to go kill Sarah Connor?
No.
Terminate dwarf.
Go back to the past and kill.
I
the
am the
Frostmaiden.
dwarfinator.
No.
Go on.
The purpose of the Firstborn was to ideally make the perfect dwarf. But along the line, Moradin disappeared, and the blueprints to the perfect Firstborn were lost, and there was imperfections along the way.
I don't know. He
So-
seems like he's got a pretty chiseled body to me.
Not that type of imperfection. It's more of how did we say it? Humanity versus
It's imperfections that we can't see immediately.
Yes.
Copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does Firka fit into all of this? Like, are you different?
I mean, I'd say she looks pretty different. Or
Right, but
he looks
like,
pretty different.
are they related in some way, or is this just a completely different thing? The wolf.
They are related in a way.
Okay.
Ah, so they're like great
It-
great 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 grandkids.
You're like that kid from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh my god.
Cuts away, cuts back. Great, cuts away, cuts back. Great.
Jesus Christ.
What is his name? Tipo, I think?
Yes, I think so. Oh my god.
I forgot about that kid.
I forgot about it too. I'm trying to think of the word. Duwak is more like a demigod?
In the same way that Heracles is a demigod, I'll give you.
Yeah. So it's more like not
He's-
related,
He's
but
special.
yes.
Okay. What's with the Pokeball?
That
Are you gonna
is
throw it Charizard at Arl the Frostmaiden?
No. That is actually a power core from the facility where Duwak came from. And I had yawn, sorry. And it basically has the power core cell in it, and he uses that as his arcane focus.
Oh, well then you must be a spellcaster.
I am a spellcaster.
What are you?
I am a artificer.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making like demigod level, like firstborn technology. Do you have a cell phone?
Mm-mm.
Do you want one?
That's an option?
I was gonna say that's an option.
Probably not.
I don't
But
know,
then
man.
what
Service
is-
in the north seems like it'd be pretty sketchy.
She could. I think the only person she would have. I think the only person she would have on speed dial would be Moradin, and then he doesn't answer most of the time.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what?
He doesn't even have his voice box set up. It's just this person does not have a voice box set. Morden!
Do you have any like specific firstborn tech that you've made? Like, are you responsible for an intercontinental ballistic missile or something? Like,
Oh. I made some things.
And now they're running amok.
Yes, basically.
No, there's not any muck. It's all frozen because of the
So
frostmaiden.
I have a question.
One of the
I have a question.
hold that thought. One of the things that we're going to be adding to this campaign is they're traveling around the north and trying to deal with the giants and the frostmaiden and all of that shit. Is there's also going to be like firstborn tech causing problems, and that's going to be yet another apocalypse that Dwok and his associates are going to have to.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 5 layers of apocalypse. Shit.
At least, yes.
Just keep on piling it up,
Yeah,
baby. We'll deal with it.
Hold up.
What were you going to ask?
Are you you said you made firstborn tech. Are you the only one making firstborn tech?
Considering I was the only one that woke up in my facility, yes.
You woke up in a facility. Why?
Because my home is in the Hall of Forgotten. And that's where all the Firstborns are.
But why did you wake up?
Oh, because
your alarm clock went off.
yes, there was things going on in the north that Dwok has been alerted to.
And are you going to the moot?
Yes, I am.
Can you get drunk?
I don't know.
Like, what's a dwarf without ale?
I mean, yeah. What would it do?
Other than it's very
Can
sad.
you be affected by poison?
Yeah, drinking is an important part to dwarven culture. But if you can't be poisoned, then you don't drink.
Yeah.
I am immune to poison.
You cannot get drunk. I am so sorry.
I feel so bad for you.
So why are you going to the moot?
Because I need to tell people that everything is going to shit.
That's a pretty good reason.
That's a very, very good reason. So you're like a first level artificer then.
Couldn't you just like turn on the computer at the facility and be like, "Hey guys, there's an emergency."
Nope, because all the power was going down.
That constitutes an emergency, I would say.
Well, of course the power was going down. You took it and turned it into a Pokeball.
She caught the legendary power source. We're done.
Ah, so it's a Rotom.
I was going to make a Pikachu joke, damn it, Birchmela.
Rotom's so much better.
I hate Rotom. I'm sorry, but Rotom is ugly and annoying.
I am not
Rotom?
level 1.
Rotom is kind of interesting.
Why are you going to the moot?
I'm going to moot to tell people we need to start doing shit now, otherwise then everything's going to be lost forever.
Oh, we skipped over the level question.
Yeah, what are you? You're an artificer level 1?
Level 5.
You're a level 5 artificer. So you're going to be showing up a little bit later then.
Yes.
You're showing up a little bit later. Everybody's going to be reveling in their victory, and then Dwok Kumi is going to show up and be like, "Oh, by the way, everything is fucked, and I have proof."
Yep.
Now,
how are you going to tell them you have proof?
I offered her a camera, and she said, "What would I need a camera for?"
I mean, at that point, she couldn't take a picture of anything while the power was going out.
She could have downloaded the information from the fucking terminal. She could have taken a data slate. She didn't.
Yeah, but just think of how many
Right, but then where would
she, there'd be.
How would she display the data?
On the data slate. Look,
On the Sheikah slate?
if Princess Zelda can do it, Dwok Kumi can do it.
The data slate is an iPad.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
Could
thought
the wolf
It's not Nintendo Switch.
Actually, wait, that's an
I thought
idea.
it was a flash drive.
Could the wolf have like a data pad thing as one of her infusions?
That
But
would
she's an artificer, right?
That would be dope as fuck.
Oh, it would actually be pretty dope, not gonna lie.
I'm gonna at least make the joke at least once during the game. Do you have games on your phone?
Oh my god. How dare you?
I've been getting a lot of how dare.
Once
Of
again,
course, I'm gonna get. How am I getting the "how dare you" response from Kit so often lately? Holy
once
fuck.
again, Nightfall proves himself to be the one, to be the child that got kicked.
So what do you want to get out of the campaign, Wolf?
That even though you're imperfect, it's okay to be imperfect.
Interesting. Okay.
Ooh.
So we get to the discussion. This is an interesting one. The wolf is figuring out the wolf's pronouns, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you figuring out Dwok's pronouns too, or do you have those?
I have those.
Go on.
I also have the wolf's pronouns.
Go on.
Cool.
The wolf would like to go by they, them.
Okay.
And Duwak would probably be going by they, them as well.
Well, that makes things much easier.
Yes, it does.
Agreed.
Huzzah!
Okay. Anything you want to avoid in the campaign, and anything that you would want to rewrite entirely?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
This is going to be an interesting character to play.
I believe that. It will be up to you to do them justice.
I will do my very best.
I believe that as well. So, go ahead.
I'm aware on very little of Wolfie's ability, but this, as far as I'm aware, is something very new. I'm excited.
So, there's our crew. Runyak, Dwok Kumi, Kelio, Breaking Dawn, Firga, and Lash, not counting the wolves. And these guys will be taking the stage early next month. We kind of have to give our Thursdays up to our open dice night for the next little bit. And then, of course, some holidays. But in early December, we should be ready to go with the proper overlay and all of that good stuff. But we're not going to dip out quite yet. I want to do a roundtable with the players, see if you guys have any questions for each other, for me, for the audience, and if the audience has any questions for the players or me about the upcoming Voices of the Mountain, we'll take a few minutes and discuss that stuff. I'm more than happy to do so. Guys, got anything you want to talk about?
I have questions about mechanics and stuff.
All right.
I don't know if now's the time for this.
Now is absolutely the time for this. Go on.
We have not discussed what animals Kelio can would be able to turn into when she gets druid. No, fuck, that's later. Never mind. All of that is later.
That is a conversation to have when you actually live long enough to become a druid that can shapeshift.
Yeah.
Your static is back.
Fuck. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back.
Anybody else got questions?
Any better?
Better.
I have a question.
What's up?
What is your character's favorite food? Like
Pasta.
Would the ingredient? I really don't know what my character's favorite food is.
Me and the fox talked about this.
I'm thinking an equivalent to like a roast.
You can't go wrong with a hearty bowl of stew. I'm just saying.
Yeah, stew.
I remember what
just
it was.
about anything you can find would
I think it was
go
like
well.
sweet meats, like honey ham.
Yep.
Honey is also
not
probably
to
a
be confused
big
with sweet
one.
meat.
Yes, meat.
Kelio's with like if things get staying cold, Kelio's probably gonna be very pissed about not being able to find honey.
You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
Oh,
Especially
that
because
reminds me of a
you
thing
use
I have.
it in herbalism too.
Yes. Kelio knows a recipe for potions apparently.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about that.
Anybody else got questions? Or anybody else got favorite foods, rather?
I'm
Wolf,
thinking
Sibs.
for
Go ahead.
I'm thinking for Firga it's probably like fresh bread.
Oh,
I don't think Lash is very picky. I think Lash will just about eat anything.
barbecued pork.
Runyak
Yeah.
has an affinity for apples.
I have a terrifying question.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I know my action economy is absolutely terrifying.
With your wolves.
Yeah.
Just a
Does
little.
anyone have extra attack in the party? Is that a thing somebody gets here?
Not
They
at fifth level.
do, but not at third level.
I mean, eventually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 5th level thing.
Yeah.
Eventually Firga's
uh,
gonna get 4.
Yeah, at the
Holy
moment
shit.
I have
Firga, holy shit.
action surge, but that's only so many uses.
Hey,
Action surge extra attack is stupid.
No, what's stupid is you get 4 attacks with 1 attack at a high level fighter, and then you can action surge for 8.
Yep.
That whole fuck.
Oh my god.
Yup.
It's real
That's
fun.
stupid, says the person with 3 wolves.
I was gonna say you have no room
Yeah.
to talk.
I have no room to talk, and at 5th level, I'll be getting coordinated attack.
Oh, good. Good for you.
But
I-
we've discussed that I can only coordinate with one wolf at a time.
Wolf, what is your character's favorite food?
I don't know.
Does the
Rocks.
character even eat?
Yeah, does Dwok even eat?
Dwok does eat. Dwok doesn't have to eat often, though.
Is it sugar? You should
It's
just
totally
straight sugar.
Or, like, if it doesn't have to eat often, then you could kind of be like,
You only need to eat and drink once a week.
in that regard, then I think, like, you would be like the dude from Ratatouille
Trouble follows me
Oh my
everywhere.
God.
who only eats if it's really good.
Oh, the critic?
Yeah.
I don't like food. I
Ooh.
love it.
Nice.
Since you don't have to eat out of necessity, it becomes like, if I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna eat something good.
Yeah.
You can fucking Barry Allen this bitch and be like, well, guys,
That
it's time for
being
my once a
said-
week drink, and just slap
That
back
being
a shot of
said,
whiskey.
Dwok Kumi is going to fucking love Kilio's cooking. Hopefully.
Oh,
Dwok
probably.
looks like the man who would. Dwok looks like a person who would just lick a lemon and call it good. Like, stare you
I
down.
don't know. I can kind of see Dwok sitting at like a fancy table with a really nice spread. I can see it.
It's
I
like
mean-
that scene from every early 2000s like Disney movie of your mom just made an amazing spread and you take a piece of toast and be like, I gotta go, bye.
Oh, I hate that.
God, I hate that trope so
I
much.
feel like Keelio would be so mad if Dwok did
Kilio would
that.
be pissed because she works hard on her food.
Dwok would kick. No, Keelio, I mean, would kick your ass if you did that.
Yeah,
Like, take a small piece of bread, dip it in
you
the
better fucking eat if Kilio cooks. Like that's how it is when her mom cooked. You ate. You did not skip meal.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only have to eat once a week.
You're like,
I imagine when you and Keelio have that discussion, Keelio is going to start planning around it, and so when it's time for Dwok to eat, Keelio makes like better food.
Oh my
"Ooh,
god.
Nice.
That's a good idea. Thank you for that, Kat.
You're welcome. So I have a question for all of you assembled here, which is, which other member of the party do you imagine you're going to have the most friction with? Excuse me.
Ooh,
What do
that's
you
a good
mean
question.
friction?
I'm gonna answer this
Friction.
immediately. I'm gonna say Lash.
Oh, almost certainly. Like, that's an easy one for
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. This is the exact opposite of the answer you asked for. Breaking Dawn seems like a character Killia would get along with,
Okay.
which is weird considering
Yeah,
their
but-
size difference.
Breaking Dawn could get along with just about anybody.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He's a prince.
That being said, Kilio's aversion to the unnatural might cause a bit of friction with Dwok Kumi.
Yeah, maybe. Because we haven't really talked about that much, but yeah, Keelio, like, doesn't like forced progress, right? Like,
Mhm.
the concept of calculus annoys her, right?
Yeah, like anything on like don't force your will upon the natural world unless like to survive.
And yet, here's a golem.
Here's a
Yeah.
rock man.
Here's a thing that should not be moving.
Yeah, right?
Believe in the power of the rock, man.
The same thing goes for like undead.
Oh, certainly. Dwok, who do you
undead.
think you'd have the most friction with in the party?
I don't actually know.
Virga?
Would it be would it be the actual dwarf?
No, I mean, the wolf said she didn't know, or they didn't know, sorry. So,
So they prompted Firga's player.
yes.
Oh.
So, Virga, who would you have the most friction with?
Depending how Wolfie plays them, I could see some friction with Dwok Kumi.
I actually see friction with Keelio for Virga.
How so?
Oh.
Dwarves are very, very rigid and favor
Mm.
permanence.
I
Keelio is a nomad free spirit.
I see.
I definitely can see that too.
Yeah.
I can also see it with any of the ones that have order, like they treasure order. Like I can see a situation where we
Kilio
have
and
to
Lash
write,
butting heads.
yeah, where Lash has to where we need to lie about something to get out of trouble, and Lash telling the truth,
Yeah,
and
Lash-
like
Oh, yeah.
and that
You cannot commit that.
restriction,
Mhm.
that restriction's gonna rub Kilio the wrong way.
What about Dawn? Who do you think you'll have the most friction with in the party?
Honestly. So, from what I know about the party so far, I think the one that Dawn is going to have the most issue with is going to be old man McGucket over there.
Brunyak.
The fuck you say to me, boy?
Because they're both leader types.
Okay.
And yes, Breaking Dawn knows when to back to a known greater leader. But at the same time, there's no clear indicator in his mind that he's a greater leader.
I see that. You were going to say, Nightfall?
By that right, all of us would clash because all of us lead in a different way.
I do not agree with that at all.
No, it's more literal leader type.
There are 3 people in this party who are actual political leaders, and that is Runyak, Dawn, and Lash.
I can see the 3 of those going at it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Though I also feel the need to mention Dwakumi is like the embodiment of the Hallowstone belief system.
No?
I can see that.
A stone savior suddenly bamfing into existence saying, shit's fucked, guys.
I'm just saying Stone Savior is definitely an album title.
Oh, certainly.
Wolf, if you don't change your nickname to Stone Savior after this, I'm gonna scream.
One of the things that I think it's very important to say as the GM, especially because this is a focus on culture, is even though I led this question with who's going to get your goat, none of these are insurmountable. Like there is not going to be, at least as far as I can see it. Yeah, there might be friction, there might be learning moments, there might be cultural inhibitions, one might say, obstructions. But at the end of the day, all of these characters have it in their heads and their hearts that, like, we have to save the world. Like, we have to. So I think...
If we don't, we have no world to come back to.
Yeah, exactly.
We can argue about who got chocolate in the peanut butter later.
Hmm.
And I think that's gonna come up a lot. And it gives me a very easy storytelling device of if things are getting a little bit heated in the camp for whatever reason, I can set people back on the course with, you know, a giant or a dragon or something, like, because I think everybody here, like, once you guys, like, you know, there's going to be some time for you to, like, grow into being a party, right? But I think, like, once that happens, y'all are going to have, like, some real strong bonds, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I know we got a lot of people lurking in chat. I hope you guys are having fun. If you guys have any questions for me or the players about the characters or about the game that you're going to see coming up very soon on the channel, now's the time to ask them. If you players have any questions for me, now's the time to bring them up. We've been at this for a couple of hours now, and we're running out of content. So what do you guys got, if anything?
Does this count as a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God, Cookie.
There's going to be a lot of fuckery at this table.
There's going to be less fuckery here than with the nightlights, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
say
to be fair though, the nightlights are children.
Yes, exactly.
These are like adults. People
Most of us.
jobs.
Most of us. Killy was like 16.
Baby.
Kilio's the same age as Pierce.
Yeah, but
little baby man.
But
I say that, but Lash
she's-
is 17.
but Kilio has grown up a lot.
Yeah, compared to Pierce, Pierce is a child.
Yeah.
Pierce is a bitch.
I say baby, but Ash is like 17.
Oh my god!
Ow.
I took psychic damage from that bike.
How did you take psychic damage from that?
Pierce is a bitch. Just fuck.
I mean,
he right though.
he right though.
Pierce can be, but also
No,
I'm
Pierce
sorry.
is still a bitch.
I'm sorry. The last time I remember Pierce not being a little bitch was when he was giving Cromley the business.
That's true. That was impressive. I think that, like, Gamzee makes a good point. That's the mood you should channel for Keelio constantly.
Oh yeah,
Ooh, you're right.
big, strong little sister.
So, I think we're about ready to wrap up. What do you guys think?
I do have one last question.
What's up?
Any like player pet peeves
You're asking me?
Yes.
at the party at large? But feel free to chime in.
I do not personally like this thing that is very common with fledgling role players, where they get an idea for a moment, but it doesn't go anywhere. I often refer to it as, wouldn't it be cool if? Hey kid, wouldn't it be cool if Breaking Dawn turned bright green? Yes,
fuck?
the Hulk, it would be cool. Where do you want to go with that? And then if the response is, I'm inclined to shoot it down. Because that's not how you tell a cohesive story. So I would...
What if there were giraffes below?
What?
Oh, I just want to fucking fight myself.
so I would say, like, I am absolutely willing to hear any ideas you have for your character, but I
Wouldn't
would...
it be cool if I got a fourth wolf?
No.
Yes, it is going to be about 1 foot by 1 foot and full of plushie.
Listen, just get a pup.
But I would prefer it if you were conscious of the greater story, at the very least your own story, if not the full campaign. It would be amazing if you could take that into account too. But if you just have an idea for it to be a good idea, I'm gonna say it's a good idea, but if you can't make it go anywhere, I'm not going to bother. That's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
Noted.
I can say with honest certainty, you have a lot of traits that I believe I enjoy as a player, like to a DM.
Okay.
I've played with a couple of these people.
Uh-huh.
I've seen how some of these people play in their respective shows. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this party.
I agree.
So,
You and I both.
I agree with
Dog,
that sentiment.
I'm the wild horse. You know nothing about me yet.
Shut up.
Stares at Cookie in Bird.
Jimothy.
Yeah, exactly.
Stairs in Death or New Prop.
The thing about it is, Cookie, like, while that's true, you're also playing arguably a reserved trope, which,
Exactly.
because you're an unknown to this group, I appreciate the hell out of. You know who that type of move reminds me of? And this is going to be a huge compliment if you know me, like many people in this call do. That's a Taliesin Jaffe move.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And I appreciate that, and I do fully believe that Brunyak has the potential to be this group's Percy. Absolutely.
I
Adjust monocles.
But will he show mercy?
Probably not.
You expect mercy out of this party? Are you kidding me?
He'll be ruining all over the place.
I have a very
Oh my
minor pet
God.
peeve in general.
Okay, wait.
And no. Gamzee has the
Who-
floor.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
It's just when someone is talking in general, and it's something that comes up in D&D a lot, and it's something that always irks me because it even happens on like the shows you see that are popularized, where one person is talking and suddenly another person just starts like trying to speak up right in the middle of their sentence. And I'm guilty of that from time to time.
It's something that you can't really avoid on Discord.
Yeah.
It irks me.
can't-
I'm with you.
See, I did it there. Sorry.
I mean,
You can't.
so did
you can't
I.
Read, yeah, you can't read body language to see when someone's about to speak up or anything
Mm-hmm.
in a Discord call.
Right. It's just like when they're right in the middle of a sentence, and then
Mm-hmm.
That
Can you
being
not, sir?
said, while I can't really control that, I'll make you this promise, and I look at chat when I say that. I make you this promise as well. Like, if I hear somebody start to speak and they get talked over or nobody comments on it, I try to be cognizant of that and make a point to say, hang on, what were you going to say, the wolf? Or, hang on, Gamzee has the floor. Or, hang on, Sibs, what did you say? Like, I tried to be aware of that. Now, I'm not perfect, and I also can't hear for shit, but I try. And I can make you the promise that I will continue to try.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the best I got. Now, if this was in person, I think it would be a lot easier, because I could just wing a D12 at nightfall and he'd shut up. Like,
No.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We can
Why a
honestly-
D12?
it's the
Because
least
it's the
pointy.
most damage.
well, hold on, Fox. Just get like the phone number of one of their folks. Anytime they start like talking out of turn, like D20, and just
You doubt for a moment when me and Wolf are living together, Kit's not going to message Wolfie and say, "Hey, go smack Nightfall in the back of the head at least once a day." Like,
Give Nightfall a wedgie.
I mean,
Listen,
that
I
would
know-
just the unwritten rule.
you doubt that
Listen.
I'll take advantage of that.
Listen, it is not my fault that might happen.
sir, I blame Kit 100%
the
because I know you
point-
can't control yourself.
The point that I am making is there are limitations to the medium that we're using. I hear you. Your concern is valid, and I will do all within my power to mitigate it. But there's only so much we can do. Gamzee.
I completely understand.
We appreciate you.
It was just a
No, it's valid.
pet-
It's
pet
completely valid.
peeve.
I can say I'm working on it, and I'm sorry. I know I do it a lot.
But
Mhm.
but also I know this group, and one of the reasons that I brought them together is while it might seem sharp, they know that
Hi,
if I have
Kitsune.
to say, Nightfall, shut up, I'll clarify it in a second, and you'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's
I'll
good is-
show we don't get pissed off when the bard has to do that.
I mean, you do, and it is valid to do it, and I try not to do it often, because I know I'm an asshole. But what I'm saying is, again, we have means to mitigate that during the performance. So,
Yes.
What's
Wait.
what's good is this group one way or another. There's a lot in each person into another. Just how good the chemistry we have it.
what were you going to say, Cookie? It seemed like you were about to say something.
No.
Oh, okay.
I
Anybody else got peeves? Birchmila?
I had something and now I'm completely blanking on it.
And that
because-
is precisely my peeve with you, and you know it. Like,
That's your peeve with a lot of us. Me, Wolf, and Gracie.
only because you don't do anything to mitigate it.
Heh.
I would recommend writing it down. We have player notes for a reason.
The problem with that is she forgets to write it down.
You expect us to write down the idiots to the brain?
I feel-
I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
I feel bad because I so often like don't know how to word something. The moment it comes up, I've had time to think about it, and I still don't know how to word it.
Let's be honest. We have 100 thoughts going through our head at one time. You expect us to pluck one out and just slap it on the board?
I don't know. I think 100 is generous.
I take
Fox,
a lot of
you
notes.
know how many it would be cool if ideas I there's a minimum of 100 up here.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
didn't
not.
say
I'm just.
100 good ideas.
I'm just
Yeah,
not.
that's
Nobody
really
said they
the
were good ideas.
The thing about it is, Gamsey, I'm not entirely
Something,
sure those
something,
count
turning
as
green.
thoughts, though.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh.
oof. Just big oofs.
Big oof. So Wolf, what are your player peeves that we need to address?
I don't think I have any.
Cookie?
Not any that haven't been pointed out yet.
Sibs?
Same here.
Ah, fine.
That's another thing. Nobody having anything to say.
I would much rather people be like, I don't have anything to say, than what the wolf is going to do right now.
Ah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What?
Gentlemen, individuals.
That was such a targeted missile. Holy fuck.
but it
I couldn't even dodge
but
that.
it worked. But it worked, and it
Head
illustrated my
roll.
point beautifully, Nightfall. What are you
I
on?
couldn't dodge that. I got.
It was a wisdom save, and I'm starting to think Wiz might have been the wolf stump.
I think I successfully cast suggestion on the wolf.
The wolf has great charisma, don't get us wrong.
The wolf is talking tonight. That's a good
No,
thing.
the
though.
wolf is doing very good, and that was actually why I wanted to do that, to get that out of the way, and also to illustrate my point. The point that I'm making, in case anybody missed it, is I would much rather people be like, I have nothing to add, than to just sit there, because I'm allergic to dead air, especially when I'm streaming, and when I say, this actually happened earlier this week, multiple times during a session of Crown of Fangs, I said, okay, what do you guys want to do? And there was about 15 seconds of silence from 4 people. And that is ridiculous. Now, I don't think that's going to be an issue with this group, because Nightfall, Gamzee, and Birchmila are here. But I do think it might be an issue with Cookie, Sibs, and Wolf.
Cookie likes thinking out his sentence.
Good.
It's true.
And get him to teach the
Um,
wolf how to do that.
I'm trying.
I know you are, and you're doing really well tonight. So,
I know. I'm proud of myself.
So speaking of that,
Proud of the OO.
do we have anything else to discuss, or shall we wrap up? Because I'm currently being attacked by a cat, and I'm starving.
Which kidder?
Teobean.
Which kidder? Tail.
Hi, Teo.
Tail bean.
Hello, Teobean.
Does anybody else have anything to bring up?
Yes,
I'm
we
so
love the
excited.
tail bean.
We do.
I am very excited.
I bring up that I'm upset that we're not starting this for another month.
Right?
I mean, okay,
Yeah.
so if you are upset that we're not starting this for another month, send all your love at Nightfall the Kitsune on Twitter.
I mean, if you want to do this,
The overlay is also not ready, so
ah,
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's your only out, Heckfall.
yeah, the overlay not being ready was my out. Fuck. Like that spoiled my out shit. I gotta do things.
So what thing is are we talking about?
I'm doing. I'm DMing a
Two-shot.
an assassin, either a 2-shot or a 1-shot, depending on how fast you guys are. An assassination mission.
Okay,
what
kill
I'm
everybody.
doing
Got it.
What I'm hearing is Nightfall is going to be hounding us to finish the overlay within the next week.
Yes.
Stab harder.
Like, I'm with the characters that are already there. Like, this may just end in an hour.
So
Oh my
so
God.
yeah, I think that's gonna be it for our session 0 of Voices of the Mountain. We will be back in early December with episode 1. You'll see these characters with a proper overlay. We'll have these people in. We have a big story to tell for you guys, and it's gonna take a while to tell it, hopefully. So here's looking forward to that. For now, I'm gonna just tab over here. And with your guys' permission, I would like to save shoutouts for the actual show.
That's fine.
Since you guys
I'm fine with
introduced
that.
yourself at the beginning of the show, I just kind of want to go ahead and wrap things up, if that's cool.
Wrap it up with a bow.
Gucci.
Nightfall, you got something to say?
No.
Okay. As always, I am the Sharp-Eyed Kitsune, the teller of tales and the weaver of mysteries, the masked bard. This is a channel that is devoted to lore and storytelling, world building, role playing, and discussions of those things. So, if that's to your fancy, you're in excellent company here, and I do hope that you enjoyed your time with us. This was session 0 for the upcoming Decisive Action Voices of the Mountain, a multi-module playthrough taking place on Wednesdays on this channel. And yeah, we'll be premiering that soon. Tomorrow's my traditional day off, but we will be back on Saturday with potentially the conclusion of Greedfall in the afternoon, if you're watching the live show, and our weekly GM prep show, wherein I will be adding Voices of the Mountain into the rotation with Grandmaster preparations in the evenings. We'll be working on Waterdeep Dragon Heist, we'll be working on Crown of Fangs, and we'll be working on Voices of the Mountain, with more stuff coming up. For now, this has been our show. So I'm going to wrap things up and get out of here. But when I do, I'll be hosting someone. It's someone who I like, someone who I hope that you all will like, and could spread some of the love that was felt here today over on their channel. And check back here, because I'm always hosting someone, and you might find your new favorite streamer that way. But now, as we end the show, we close the book on today, it's time to leave you with these parting words. From myself and my keepers, and those joining me on the stage this evening, to all of you, the regulars, the followers, the newcomers, and the lurkers. Excuse me. Whether you're just having a seat by the fire, or you've got a running tab at the bar, remember, there's always more stories to tell. And hopefully, I'll see you all for the premiere of Voices of the Mountain, and the beginning of a new chapter. Good night, you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hope to see you again soon.